My name is Lizzie. Each week I'm bringing along a different origami fold to encourage you to take some time out for yourself, for your self-care. Now these films are all dedicated to my colleagues in hospital, UCH, and this week and last week I've been doing something very special, teaming up with the University of Oxford's Bodlean Library, very famous old library, and they're putting on a very special exhibition and events celebrating a philosopher who is called John Locke, and he was born in 1632, lived to 1704, was a time of enlightenment, and he was one of those people behind that. So the exhibition will involve some origami, and it's all been proposed by a good friend of mine, an origamist who is called Cliff Landersman, and the pieces that he's put together are relevant to John Locke. So we're going to be learning a little bit of philosophy while folding some origami, or at least thinking about it. So again, we're doing two pieces, as I'm sure you've spotted. I'm wearing something. So the first thing that we're going to do is a traditional fold from Japan to make a cube. As you can see, the square shape, but it's a cube, and we'll be thinking about the relevance of that. The second thing that we'll be doing is folding a beautiful crown, which is by Laura Kruskul, and her family, who's supportive of this as well. And it's a really nice strong fold. It's a beautiful crown, and this is something that you can make for yourself. And maybe if you have joined me, this will be something that you started. It'll take a little time, but it's well worth doing. So for this, we're going to need A4 paper. This has been 11 pieces of A4 paper. If you've got different colours, better still. The cube is just one piece of paper, and I will show you from just normal paper. So let's get going, and we're going to chat at the same time. That's it. So I'm going to start with, first of all, the cube. So I've got a piece of paper, A4 paper. Actually, we might as well make it from a big square. So John Locke was very interested in the soul, in the person, identity, and he reckoned that people were born a blank slate, so like a blank piece of paper, and it's their experiences that forms who they are. I think most of us think that, don't we, really? But it's an interesting mixture, how much we're born with and how much we learn. Anyway, origami, you can have no idea at all, but you learn from others, so it's a little bit like that. So we're going to start off with a blank sheet and see where it takes us. So I'm going to grab something to press on. I recommend you do that as well. And directing this down. And I'm going to make, first of all, a square. So I'm going to take a corner and just line it up. So this idea of the cube comes from one of his, again, a sort of thought experiment. Lovely idea, the idea of shoving out a situation and then just pondering what would happen. And of course that encourages discussion and thought. We're going to remove this rectangle, so turning it over and bringing it back. So what he was pondering, and others were pondering as well, was if someone had grown up without any sight, so blind, and and then gained sight, so based on never seeing before, could they tell apart a cube to a sphere? Bearing in mind when they were blind, they would have been able to feel things like that. What do you think? Do you think you'd be able to tell the difference if you'd never seen something before and you saw something for the first time? Could you tell the difference? We're going to make a cube which feels very sharp on the edges. Maybe that will give you a clue, though. Maybe you could. Who knows? Although it is one of those things, how can we truly know? So we've got a square. We've done one diagonal line, and we'll do now the other diagonal line. There we go. Good crisp lines. So this is what's called a paper balloon or a water bomb, because it could actually be filled with water, maybe in the summer outside, filled with water and chucked. Apparently it's great fun, but we're going to use air, so do make sure also that your hands are nice and clean for this one. So I've done both diagonal lines. Now turn it over. It's a lovely shape. We're going to do a cross, so we're going to fold it halfway and then the other way. So here goes. We're going to be doing a nice big square with this one. Folding it in half and then folding it in half the other way. Hope you're enjoying the journey. There we go. Imagine what a sphere would feel like and a cube. Yes, that's it. So, as it is now, it sort of curves up a little bit. Pop your finger underneath the middle and push it. Pops. There we go. Now I just want you to push in the sides, and you should be able to then squash it down, and it forms a triangle, like so. So I hope it's looking like that. Next, I'm going to take the corner and bring it up to the top. You're all nice and careful. Squashing it down. And the same with the other corner. That corner, bring up to the top. There we go. Like so. And then if you turn to the back, same thing. So you're picking up a corner and bringing it up to the top. Like so. It's good looking as if it's back to our square. And again, the corner, bringing it up to the top. So, yeah, this week you get 2 folds for 1, which is rather good. And if you started it in person in the Weston Library, then maybe you can continue it and finish it as well. So next we're going to take the outside corner and bring it to the middle, to the centre point really, which means that it looks fairly sort of balanced. So I'm pushing this across, it's quite sort of thick, like so. There we go, that looks fairly even. And the same with the other side. Taking that and meeting in the middle. I think I might need to see what I'm doing a little bit more. It'll be really quite thick now. Good strong folds. There we go. And now turning to the back. And again the side to the middle. Like so. And this fold comes from Japan. I've heard many people talk about this from their childhood, of having fun with it. So if you haven't before, I'm sure you'll enjoy learning this now. I didn't know it as a child. So at the moment we've got it. Can you see this? These little loose flaps. I want you to take those loose flaps and just fold them down over those diagonal lines. So I'm just folding that down. Now what I want you to do is pick it up, and believe it or not, there's a little pocket there. So you should be able to take this corner and pop it in there. Now it won't go all the way down, that's to be expected. But that's what I want you to do. So I'm curving that round and pushing it in there. And I hope the good thing with this YouTube video is you can always pause, you can change the speed, you can go back until you get it. Because it's only in your own hands you really learn it. So again, that corner, popping it in. There we go. So it should be looking like this. So now if you turn to the back, we're going to be doing the same thing again. Again, there's these loose little flaps, folding that down. There we go. And again, picking that up and tucking it into the pocket. There we go. Tucking it in, and then the same thing on the other side. That's concentration. It's all part of the fun. And I find it just helps that you've already got it a little bit in that position. Right, we're getting there. Not much further to go. Right, I just want you to take the top and fold it down there. So it'll end up looking like we are just making another square. Do the same thing at the bottom too. But it's fine, you can let it go as well. We're just adding a little crease line there. So folding it up like so. That's it. Very thick. There we go, that's it. So if you undo those now if you have a look at the end, which is the opposite end to these, this end actually has a little hole. And if you just slightly open the sides, this will just help. You can then blow into the hole. Now you need nice dry lips for this, don't have soggy lips. I'm going to blow into that and see if it expands. You could use water as well, but we're getting to You can also sort of pull it out as well, but hopefully it does start to get it into shape. Mine has also got some lipstick on it as well. But and with those lines that we've got, you are starting to find. Yep, you might lose your lipstick at this point. There we go. Neaten it out, but that's the basic idea. And it was your air that expanded it into a cube. Do you think this feels different to a sphere? I think so, doesn't it? Yeah, so sharp edges you would feel quite different to a sphere. So I hope you've managed to make a little cube for yourself there. That's pretty amazing. It's just one piece of flat paper and it became a whole 3D thing. The next thing we're going to make, and I will be showing you 2 pieces, but you're going to have to continue yourself, but you can do it. It's a nice project to do, is to make yourself a crown. Everybody needs a crown, don't they? The good thing is we don't need to make squares for this one. So Laura Kruskul, who designed this, she was really into using things with rectangles, which is so good, not to have to make your own squares. So A4 paper, so each little prong of this crown is an A4 piece of paper, so it does require quite a few, at least 11 really. Mine was 11 and that's what Cliff has found as well. So piece of paper, and I'm going to show you, we'll do it end up twice and I can show you how they plug together and then you just continue. Hopefully you'll start to get the idea. So A4 piece of paper, it's in this landscape position and I'm just simply going to fold it in half. So what's the relevance of the crown? Well, this is again another of John Locke's thought experiments that he was thinking about anyway. And he was thinking about the idea of if you took the soul of a prince and changed it over with a cobbler, which maybe last week you may have made a little shoe, a little medieval shoe. So could you swap over the soul from a prince into a cobbler's, and would the cobbler be then a prince? What happened to the cobbler? That's what I want to know. Maybe he became a prince too. So at the moment all we've done is fold it over. It's like a little tent like that. There we go. Now if you take the bottom edge and fold it back up. So taking this and folding it up like so. That's it. So it was down there, it was like that tent, and I folded the bottom up. And now turn it over, turn it round, and again taking the bottom up to the top. So you're sort of making a little zigzag really. Like so. Great. So I want you just to take one side as it is and just push that down and open it up. And what we're going to do is take a little corner and fold it in. So just taking the corner and folding it to that middle line. So apparently, according to Cliff, Laura, who designed this crown, was an amazing storyteller. I've not really been telling many stories because I know for me, I always like to really concentrate. And I would have thought you're also concentrating too. But I hope it's been interesting to ponder some of these thought experiments, which are like stories themselves, aren't they? So, and then the top, you can then take that top corner and fold that down. Now don't fold all the layers, there's one layer behind, just leave that as it is and fold this down to meet. That's it, it's looking a bit like an arrow or something. Same with this corner. It's looking like that. Great. You've got this one sticking out. So just flip this over. And we've got, again, these square corners up here, and we're going to do the same thing, just folding that down. We're almost there. It's just it takes a while to do 11, but it's part of the joy and it's really strong. It's a lovely crown. Really recommend you keeping going. So now we're just going to flip it down like so. Now I want you to turn it so it's widest at the bottom. That's right, and we're going to take this corner and flip it up. Is that right? I'm suddenly wondering now. So yeah, that's right. So I'm going to take this. Can you see this bottom corner, which is widest at the bottom, taking this and flipping it up so it's sort of vertical like that. So it's down there and I'm flipping it up and it's going to go through that corner. So just think about getting it all nice and sharp. I definitely have to concentrate for this one. I'm sure you are too. So it was down there and I picked it up and I flipped it up vertically, and I'm making sure that it really is through that corner as well. That's it. Just giving it a good strong fold. And then we're going to take that down. So all you're doing is leaving a line there. Now our next step is take this corner and line it up to this one, and you'll get a halfway point. And then the fun will begin. It will become 3D in a moment. That's right. Halving it. There we go. Opening it up again. Right. So now it gets even more interesting. So I want you now to turn it the other way up, so it's like a little canoe, like a little boat. And if you open up the middle, it really is like a little canoe. Now it's going to be a bit shape-shifting now. So I want you to opening it up, and I'm pushing it in the middle along that line. I'm bringing it back, and it's like a big mouth. So that's it. But you've got this lovely line here, which you have made. And what I want you to do is press that line. Can you see I'm getting them to stick to each other there, line up. And what I want you to do is to push that line over the other. Very hard to explain in words. I hope you're able to have a good look. That's it. There we go. You have made now your prong of your crown. So this is one little bit of your crown. Great thing is a paper. I think that's not quite vertical enough, is you can always reposition things until you're happy. That looks pretty good. I hope yours looks like this. We're going to do one more and see how they plug together. After that, you'll just have to keep going yourself. And I would recommend something like 11 if you want to make a nice full crown. So let's do it one more time. Different piece of paper this time, different colour so you'll be able to see. So I'm folding it in half. And the great thing is, you'll find by doing this, giving yourself this time, you are learning. There we go, make it a nice little pen, like a card. Take that bottom line up to the top. So it all gets easier and more natural the more that you're doing this. That's it, like so. And then turning it round, taking the bottom up to the top. There we go. So what you've made is like a little zigzag. And now just take the front bit, flip it down, and we're going to do corners to the middle for all those sides, but not folding the very back. So not folding all the layers. So up here, I'm going to fold it down, but I'm going to leave that sticking out the back. That's how it's meant to be, according to Laura. There we go. Bottom. Lovely pictures of Laura when she was older, wearing an amazing crown. I think it's got little boats on it. I think everyone should be in touch with their inner child throughout their life. Here we go, the bottom corner. What a lovely challenge she obviously gave herself. Let's see how many things we can find, what we can do with a rectangle. So again, if you just flip that over, then you're on to another blank side. And again, taking the top corner and folding it to that middle line. Like so. There we go. And then folding it in. So sort of everything's just is hidden away really. Now I want you, at the moment it looks like a canoe, turn it over so it's wider at the bottom. We're going to take one end and we're going to flip this so this comes up vertical, and it will make a nice little line there. Make sure the line goes through that tip there, and make sure it goes up fairly vertically if you can, like so. It looks a bit like an arrow, doesn't it, at the moment? I'm happy with that. As I said, the great thing with paper is you can just reposition till you're happy. There we go. That's it. Now we're going to do a halfway line. So we're going to take this tip and match it with that one. So it's probably quite thick. Good exercise for those fingers too. Certainly for your mind. And then opening this up. There we go. And then we want to flip it over, turn it into the canoe position. And we're going to open up the middle like that and keep opening it up and pushing that middle way line that you've made and then tilting it back. It's like a big mouth. That's it. And just getting those to line up. It's just such an interesting shape. It's become so 3D. And now the line that you've made there is the sort of dominant one, which is going to push over the other. So pushing it over, try to get those two matching there. As I said, it's hard to put this into words, but I hope you're getting the hang of it. Squashing it down again, good strong folds everywhere will really help make it nice and sharp. We want a nice sharp crown. So we've got two, and the beauty is that they plug together. So we've got two prongy bits here, and we've got two pockets here. So it's as simple as that, that you're going to put one side here into this pocket, the other one into the other one, and that's enough to start building up your crown. You just got to make sure you plug it in both sides and pushing it in, she says. That's it, it just goes, oh, it's so beautiful. There we go. Almost reminds me of the back of a dragon as well. Yeah, there we go. So it feels really quite snug, and keep going, make more pieces, and you too can have your very own crown. I hope you've enjoyed this session, and yeah, I will be continuing to share a fold every week, and I hope you can go and maybe if you're in Oxford go and see the exhibition too. So John Locke at the Bodlean Libraries. Thank you very much.